Their plan is the same plan that was used in 1933 Germany, and they're hoping you don't notice. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Santana, and I'm going to get directly into it because these comments by top White House official Stephen Miller, they're sounding so many alarms.
Physical danger. So you have to clear a safe perimeter so ICE officers can carry out their duties without being an imminent threat of physical harm. And the fact we've normalized these attacks on ICE officers, that is how you end up in a society in which domestic terrorism becomes the norm, and eventually elections don't carry the day because violence beats votes. And that's what we're seeing attempted. And so when we see a muscular response to the federal government, it's because we're not going to let.
Stephen Miller's trying to justify the most recent use of force by ICE in multiple measures. Let's be clear, what they're hoping to do is actually incite violence to cause issues so they can not only implement martial law, but be able to control how the elections go and then control who maintains power moving forward. In order to understand what's happening, you have to look back at 1933 Germany. On February 27, 1933, there was a Reichstag building that was set on fire, and it caused over $1 million worth of damage. After the Reichstag fire, Hitler convinced the president to invoke Article 48, which consolidated power under the president and then allowed them to implement multiple harmful acts. They also took that opportunity to actually go and unlawfully arrest 4,000 people, rounding them up. Not only did this emergency decree actually give them the ability to suppress different freedoms, it was the shift from democracy to a dictatorship. There was an election that took place where 89% of German people showed up, and the Nazi Party secured 43.9% of the vote. The rhetoric that's being used by Stephen Miller and Donald Trump, them trying to actually create their own Reichstag fire moment, and they're using ICE to do so.
Patricia Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police. She said she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released.
Remember how I mentioned that the stormtroopers rounded up 4,000 German citizens? You remember how I mentioned the decree where they actually started suppressing freedom and they started consolidating power? Doubling down on this sentiment this morning, Donald Trump is continuing to say he may invoke the Insurrection Act. And he's using the justification as far as what's happening with ICE. Another thing that he's been very vocal about is actually using United States cities as a training ground for the United States military. Donald Trump and this administration is following the playbook of Hitler, bar for bar, and I will continue to call it out. I'll keep you all updated as more information comes out. Please, please, please be safe. I love you all, and as always, peace.